right, guys, exciting episode here for you. I've got flag football ambassador Mona Stevens on the show. Excited to dive into what she does, what she's an ambassador of. I think she's affiliated with the NFL. Excited to dive into the details of her career, where she's going, the future of flag football, and what she's doing. Welcome to the show, Mona Stevens.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm great, and I love your setup. Some people come on. I just had a MMA fighter on. He's using his classic cell phone, and I like your setup. You got the mic, you got the phone. You told me you got a podcast as well, right?
Yes, a German podcast for American football.
Nice. Yeah. How big is it out there? Is football massive out? I know I have a lot of fans in Australia, and I know with the Germany games, that was big. A lot of fans coming out to those. Is it big there? How massive is it? And is it continually starting to grow?
It's growing so fast. That's huge. I think there were a lot of over 3 million people who trying to get tickets for the NFL games in Germany.
Wow.
And even a lot didn't try because they knew they were sold out in seconds. So it's growing, and a lot more people on television they're watching American football, and even they play American football more and more because they get to know the rules and understand the sports, and then they get fascinated in it, and then they started.
It's beautiful that you're out there, feet on the street, really promoting American football. That's great. And I want to know a little bit about you. Somebody DM me, a couple of people DM me and say, hey, you got to get this girl on because you're doing a sports podcast. I just revamped this show. I'm getting into more sports talk because I can't really put this content on fantasy football so much. So I've got a brand new sports talk show. I'm getting interesting people like yourself. I want to learn about you. It says Flag Football Team Germany on your Instagram. It says Flag Football Ambassador NFL. And then you're in a picture with Pat Mahomes holding a jersey. It looks like you're completely immersed with the NFL. You're with the commissioner. Like you've got your feet on the street. Like who are you? What's your story in detail? Like I want to know more about you, what you're doing. And let's talk. I mean, what's your story?
Okay, first of all, I'm sorry for my English. I'm trying to get better and better. So if there's some vocabulary missing, sorry for that.
I'll tell you right now, your English is better than my German. I know no German, so you've got me beat. Now, some people don't really appreciate how good to learn multiple languages. So whenever anyone has an accent, that's really a good thing because you know multiple languages, which is very impressive.
Yes, and I love to speak some multiple language because it's nice to talk to people all over the world and understand them. So, yeah, I'm happy about it. Okay, where's my football journey starting? I was the physiotherapist of an American football team here in my city where I'm living in the south of Germany. And I didn't know anything about American football. It was completely new for me, and I jumped into it and was the physical trainer for them. And then I started to get to know the sports, and I was fascinated by it. And then when I'm at the sideline during the games, I asked the people over there, hey, what's that? What was that flag? How is that for? How does it work? How can I score? What is that for? And that's how I get into it. And after the first season, they had a closing practice, and there was flag football. And then I was able to join them, and then I totally fell in love. And then I built up a female tackle football team here in my hometown because I wanted to play football so bad.
Right.
Yeah, this was the beginning of it.
So female tackle football. So now, but again, where are you now? Are you a flag football quarterback, right?
I'm a flag football quarterback and wide receiver. I started playing wide receiver in my tackle team. Okay. And after half a year, my coach put me on the quarterback because they needed someone who was into the game already. And then I felt the passion for being quarterback, but in my heart, there's a little bit running, catching balls, making touchdowns. So, and when I get into flag football, I can do both because I joined the tryout for the German national team in 2021. And they had already a very good quarterback. She's playing flag football since 11 years, and she's very accurate, and she was a very good passer through too. But I had the better arm, so I can do the deeper balls. And so we put it together and play a lot of wildcat stuff. So I'm lined up as a receiver, and then I come back to play quarterback, receiver, whatever is in the play now. So I can do both in the flag football national team.
Is there a lot of female talent that plays football? Because again, that's something I would really like to see is tackle football for females, but I don't think there is a league as of right now. And you think that there would be a league in tackle because MMA now, that was a big thing with just dudes. Now women are fighting MMA, which is amazing. And they fight sometimes harder than the guys do, which is phenomenal to see. Is there a female tackle league yet? Is that something that's emerging? And are you on the front lines to make something like that happen? A female tackle football league?
We do have a female tackle football league in Germany. We have two leagues and one like build-up leagues. We have the first division and the second division, and we play that a long time. And there are a lot of teams, and we're fighting for the German championship every year. And even in other countries, our leagues. And when I played the World Championship in 2022 with the tackle football national team, I met a lot of girls from all over the world playing amazing tackle football. That was huge to see in which countries, wherever they play. It's so hard. They play so good football, and it's nice to watch.
Is this something that you want to put in the fore? Because I know that there is leagues, right? But I want to see it on the main stage. Just like there's a National Football League for men, I want to see it just as big for females. Now we have the women's NBA. It doesn't do as good. I don't know what it is. It's just maybe got on, that people are so used to the NBA. It just doesn't get the viewership that the NBA does. I think that if you got a tackle football league and it was promoted properly, a lot of people would want to watch. I would anyway. Do you see this something that eventually will evolve, will happen on a grand scale, or are we still far away from that?
I think we are away from that, but it can happen because the interest from more people is growing so fast. When they get in contact with football, no matter of flag football or tackle football, they start it and they get fascinated, then they never leave it. And then it's growing so big. And if you have a good stream, a good show is everything. We see it in the NFL. It's not only the game, it's everything. You have the tailgating, you have the show, you have you have the national anthem. You have a halftime act. You have like a lot of things going on around the field. And if the show is good too, I think the females can play not on that level that the NFL does, but they can play.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I'm actually getting a power slap champion on the show. She's going to be on the show, and she is so tough. Like she's done MMA. She's She's crushing it in power slap. She could take a hit. There's a lot of strong females, and that's what I want to see. I want to see the emergence more of female sports, and even in fantasy football, I think a lot of females are starting to play it a lot more. I know like 2 out of 3 that play fantasy football are male, but I like the emergence of this. I'm really curious, emergence of females coming into everything football related. So how did you're an NFL ambassador? What does that entail? What are your responsibilities? And then how did the NFL get a hold of you? Did they see you playing? Like, was there a video that went viral? Did they just know that you're immersed? Like, how did the whole connection with the NFL happen? And what do you do?
I think it started when the NFL was focusing on putting flag football to the Olympic Games. That was the beginning when they started to invest in flag football. And when we had our World Championships in 2021 in Jerusalem, in Israel, it starts growing so fast, and they got flag football ambassadors from every country. They grow it so fast, so they have the females. Like Mexico, there's Diana Flores and Vanita Crouch in the USA. We have Nausicaa in Italy. My computer is doing a lot of things here. In Italy, we have Elijah from France there, and we have Phoebe Schechter. She's a former Buffalo Bills coach. She plays tackle football, flag football too. She's from Great Britain, the NFL flag football ambassador. And we have, although NFL players who are ambassadors for the sports. That was the important thing. They're putting them on flag football to push flag football to the Olympics. Even, they know it's in the USA, it's for LA 28, and that's what they are looking for, ambassadors from every country. And then they get in contact with me from the national team, and my national team was talking to me, am I interested in pushing the sports more and more, even being present in television, social media, whatever, to give them a face, to give them a role model, to push that in my country and even in other countries in the world. So that was the intent in it.
And what are your responsibilities? You're pushing it, but what are you doing? Are you on the phone all day? Are you making calls? Are you just doing media interviews? Like, what do you mean by pushing it? Like, what are your daily responsibilities?
So my responsibility is to be in Germany, to be on school championships, to be on representative NFL flag things. I'm trying to be wherever flag football is happening. I'm trying to represent the sport, and sure, social media is a big thing, and yeah, the NFL is pushing us on different stages. When the Frankfurt games were here, I had a dinner with Roger Goodell, Peter O'Reilly, Brad Gosper. We sit together and we are talking about how we can grow the sports more, how we can bring it here in Germany, how we build up schools, bring it to programs with schools, get more information for coaches, for teachers, for parents. So how we can bring everyone together to do the sports and start with the sports and get better and better and better. So, and that's the thing. Every ambassador in every country is working in their countries, so to represent the sport. And so whatever in every country is a little bit different. So in Germany, I'm trying to be there and doing like that stuff, or being presented at the NFL games. And even I'm in the television at the moment. I have a broadcast here for American football, explaining American football and flag football to people who didn't know anything about American football, and try to soak them in, no matter flag football or tackle football.
Wouldn't you be stronger? Like, would your presence be stronger if you moved to the States and made more of an impact here, or are you doing? Is it better you stay there and grow it, overseas?
At the moment, it's better for me to stay here in Germany because it's my country. I'm representing the German national team, and I'm the face of the German national team.
For sure.
And so,
Yeah.
and this is why this is important, because they're in the US. They're amazing players too. Not only Vanita Crouch, there are a lot of flag football, tackle football players who doing this in the States. So in every country, every ambassador is doing their thing. So I think it's better for me and for the NFL to stay here in Germany and to push it in Germany, because the next step, like for the NFL, is to expand more games, get more fans. Like there's a lot of commercial things behind this and a lot of thoughts behind this, but the ground intention is like growing football all over the world. And I think for the NFL, it's interesting to have faces in every country.
You're super passionate about it. I can see that. I can feel that. Do you have a family now? Are you married still? How's your schedule looking? Like, if you have a family, is that gonna, dip into the time that you're taking this, or are you just totally focused on this right now? And if you do have a family down the road, how is that gonna affect this whole situation here? What's your story now in regards to personal life, if you don't mind me asking?
In my life at the moment is I'm a physiotherapist, and I have my own practice here in Saarbrücken. I'm still working, so that's where I have to put a lot of work in it. And yeah, I have family and friends, but they supporting me whenever I need this, and everyone is super supportive and try to help me to push it, because they know it's my passion and they understand that.
Is travel insane for you? Like, are you doing a lot of traveling?
I do. I
Yeah.
don't know. I didn't count the flights I did this year. That was pretty crazy. But yeah, I like traveling. Not only in Germany, I like traveling at all. Before I started the football thing, I've traveled the world to visit other countries, and it's not hard for me because I like it a lot.
I see you in a picture here with Pat Mahomes. Is there anything that Pat Mahomes said to you in this picture? This is when he came to Germany. How long ago was this? This is actually recent,
Two
right?
weeks.
And
Yeah.
did he say anything to you specifically? You guys play the same position. Was there any advice that you gave him, or did he give you? You know?
Oh, we had a short talk about American football in Germany. He was super interested in the national team thing, because the NFL players are not able to play for the national team for their country. And we were talking about the season, and yeah, a little bit quarterback stuff, but not specific advices or anything. Just a short talk between two quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm just curious about I want to talk specifically about the quarterback position. It's such a rare breed of position, because you can see how desperate the NFL is to try to get good quarterbacks, and there's always backups playing now. It's gotten to the point where, you only have like 10 really outstanding quarterbacks from a performance standpoint. And after that, there's a bit of a fall off. You got all these guys coming back. Flacco's still hanging around. Why is it, and there's over 300 million people in the US. Why is it so hard to get 32 amazing? You should be able to get 32 Pat Mahomes, but you can't. I don't know why. It's only 32 out of how many millions of people, right? Why is this position so hard to play? And good players, outstanding players, I should say, so hard to find at this position, in your opinion?
I think for a good quarterback, you have to have a lot of different, yeah, I think not qualities is not the word. I'm trying to find the right word for it
Right.
because you have to do a lot of things. You have to very okay. We started the basic. You have to have a good body and a good feeling for your body to get the QB movement
Yeah.
in your body. So that's one thing. To get those, like there are a lot of movements putting on each other so you can throw a ball. That's the first thing,
Right.
getting the ball in the right position. So then you have to have a good anticipation to see where people are and where they
Yeah.
will be in what moment. And then you have to have a very peripheric, is that the English word for it? I don't know, a view. So you don't have to,
Peripheral.
yeah,
Peripheral. I think peripheral
you
vision,
don't
like
yeah
see
you
from
don't have to, right, you don't have to have your receiver in your eyes. You have to have everything around you, even the offensive line. You have to be cool enough for the pocket, for the pressure, and even you have to put a lot more work in it than others have. You have to focus on the whole game. You have to know any position. You have to know the defense. You have to know a lot of things. There's a lot mindset going on. There are so many, what is this? Not I.
variables, so many things going on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the problem, to put it together. And it's not only you; it's your team. You are never a good quarterback without your team. You have to be good with your coach. You have to be good with your receivers, your offensive line. You have to trust them. There are a lot of things going on that, yeah, needs to come together to be a good quarterback, and that's, I think, a huge thing why we only have a few outstanding quarterbacks. Like you can count them
Yeah.
on two hands. So
Yeah.
this is a pretty amazing position. You have to put a lot of work in it, and a lot of things coming together. I think that's a huge part. And you're never good. So you have to work on everything. I think.
Yeah, you get a lot of pressure for sure, and all eyes are on you, and you got to motivate the team. So there is a lot for a quarterback to do. I just wanted to get your perspective because you're completely immersed in the game. I want to talk a little bit about health and safety right now. I don't know if how much you go into that with all the concussion protocol, but for me, I'm one of the old, 80s baby kind of guys. I got to be tough, that type of thing. So I'm seeing a lot of players come out, I feel, kind of prematurely on certain hits. So they come down, maybe their helmet touches, they get a little shaken up, they trot off, they walk off, and then they're pulled for the game and under concussion protocol. Do you think I mean, I'm all about, like I said, I'm all about respecting the whole let's preserve the head type thing. But then I watch UFC and you see players getting their heads smashed off the mat, bouncing off, and they're back in, right? So I don't know, is it, and then all this quarterback stuff where, the linebackers come in or whatever, they rush and they fall on the guy. And if they fall too hard, they're kind of cradling the quarterback. Do you think it's getting a little too soft, or do you think, there should be a little more flexibility on how they're doing this? Or what are your thoughts on concussions and the whole safety protocols now with the NFL? Or are they under scrutiny, under pressure to make sure that there's no damages happening to players' heads?
Yeah, for me, I'm coming from the medical side of it, so I'm
Yeah.
starting as a physiotherapist, so I have to be avoid of those problems. And yeah, we had those. How was the name of the film? Concussion from Will Smith.
Yes, yes. I think
So
that's
this is where it's already it's happened. What was the name of the doctor? Dr. Bennett.
I have to
I
look it
didn't
up.
remember. There was the doctor who
Yeah.
was working on deaf quarterbacks and deaf football players' brains, and figured out what's happening on their brains after those concussions. And you see changes in the brain structure. So a lot of aggressive things happen. So it's not good to get your head damaged like that. So I think to be careful with that is super, super important. And I like that the NFL is aware of this and doing protocols of this. And you have to follow that, because you play football for 5 to 10 years
Yeah.
usually, and then you're done in the NFL. Normal
Yeah.
NFL players. So, and this is how you put your body into a sports, and then you have to live your life after it. So it's not only the moment when you're young and you can compare this, but when you're older and older, you have problems after that. And I think it's really, really important to think about the people who are there and to think about their future. So beware of helm contact, beware of concussion protocols. This is very, very important. And even the technologies of the helmets are getting better and better. I think this is the most important thing to make sure that there's not very worse things going on in their heads. Or it's not only for the people, it's for their families. No, they're having problems with depressions. They are having
Right.
problems with being aggressive. A lot of things are going on, and so it's important to take care of this.
For sure. I just want to make sure there's a fine line, because if it's too soft, like if it's a hit that like, that could have kept going, right? That's where I think fans are going to have an issue, including fantasy football fans, where you have a quarterback and it didn't look, that tough of a hit, and they pull him out, and now we're losing fantasy points, and fans don't get their quarterback on this. So you're going to get the boos. So people are going to boo that, right? Because they want their player on the field, but obviously player safety has to be first, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
always. This is so important. And even for quarterbacks, when they get tackles, normally they fell down on their back and then they hit their head with the ground. And when you do that once and you feel it dizzy in your head and you feel what's happening and you see the
Yeah.
results of it, you have to take care of it. I mean, it's fantasy football, and you want your player on the field, but
Yeah.
it's a real person. It's
People with
it's
feeling.
real.
Yeah.
So the health
Families.
the health is the most important thing that the players have, that everyone has in their lives. So we should take care of this.
For sure. Now, do you play fantasy football at all or no?
I do, but not very well.
Oh, okay, I'll have to coach you. I'll give you my 16-round draft solution. Give you some advice on that.
Please.
But the game, another one thing that's annoying me, let's talk football here, is the running backs by committees. I feel that the game is changing. Like, I used to like the Adrian Peterson days. He just run over everybody. He was the workhorse guy, and that was it. Now it's like more and more and more and more committees. I have my theories on why this is happening. Could be just coaches don't like that particular running back, or they want to preserve running backs. Running backs get hurt a lot. Why do you think is the real root cause? I think that this really started was Kamara and Ingram. I don't know how many years ago it's been now, 8, I don't know, whatever it was. They started going with that committee. Kamara was catching the ball. Ingram was kind of smashing the ball, in the pay dirt, near the goal line. But my question is, like, why do you think more coaches, a couple of reasons on why the coaches are going with more committees now at the running back?
I think the whole game is getting more and more athletic. Even not only the running backs, even the quarterbacks. There are a lot
Yeah.
more mobile quarterbacks doing rollout, running by themselves, rushing. Like you see Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
He's running around, and now he's getting back to a pocket passer and doing a very good job. But he can do both, and it's way more dangerous and makes the game more intense. And I think everything is going into more athletic, not only running into the wall, getting yard by yard, like 1 or 2 or 3 yards. They want to create more big plays, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think it's the athletic size of it. Even the offensive line guys are more athletic than they were 10 years ago.
Do you think the Peyton Mannings of quarterbacks, that's going to be a dinosaur, the pocket passer, do you think that's going away? Like, we still have a couple of those guys, well, quite a few of those guys, like maybe like a Jared Goff, who's more of a pocket passer, doesn't run as much. Do you think eventually, maybe 10 years, 20 years, what do you think the timeline is? And do you think actually that it'll come to a point where you have to be a dual threat? You have to be like a minimum as good as like a Russell Wilson, or even you got to be Jalen Hurts. You got to be able to do both. Do you think it's going to get to that point, the evolution of the quarterback?
That's difficult.
Yeah.
Well, I like the dual threat thing more because the defense has to work on one more player, and you have to always they have to be aware of the run, of the quarterback run, and they're athletic too. But it depends on the quarterback himself. I think if you are a quarterback like Tom Brady was, you
Yeah.
can stand in the pocket and bring your ball like away in 2 seconds, and you win every fucking championship. Sorry
Yeah.
for that.
No
So
worries.
I think it's on the people themselves, but the trend is a little bit going to the dual threat thing, I think.
Yeah, I think it's moving towards that as well. And, I kind of like it that they don't run too much, because, again, a guy like Lamar, he's out there running more than a running back. I have an issue from a fantasy perspective and a health perspective. If I'm a fan of the team, because you're exposing yourself. I don't care, how limber and agile you are or elusive you are, you're still exposing yourself every time you put out the run. I say hand it to your workhorse running back in those situations and run if you
Yes.
need to pick up the extra yards. A good example of this years ago is Andrew Luck. I think he was a good balance. He was a really good passer, and then he just kind of ran when he needed to. I think Jalen Hurts has a good balance as well. I think maybe he runs a little bit more than he needs to. Anyway, it is what it is, and I think it's going to evolve. The face of the NFL, I want your opinion on this. I'll tell you who I think should be the face. As of right now, I think it's Mahomes. I think Jalen Hurts should be the face. I like those players that are work ethic, head down, non-diva type players, but he's not really like a media guy. He's not loud. He's not, who do you think should be the face of the NFL in your opinion? And who is the face right now from your perspective? I know it's a little. Yeah. Are
Hard
you, are you allowed
question.
are you allowed to answer that?
So I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan because I like the untypical style of playing quarterback. But for me, a good face for the NFL at the moment, Jalen Hurts, you're right, but
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey,
Really?
he's a
Running back, though?
workhorse.
A
Huh?
running back, it's always typically the quarterback,
It's
though.
always on the quarterbacks. So that's the thing, yeah? It's always the quarterbacks. So if you want to call a quarterback, crazy. Hard, 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 hard. Some of them deserve it. Some of them are on the road to deserve it.
Why
It's
Christian
really hard.
McCaffrey, though? I mean, he had his share of injuries in 2020, 2021. He only played 10 games in those games combined. He's been consistent this year and the year before and a couple of years prior in his, when he first started. But why? I mean, obviously he's a complete running back. What are the reasons, do you think, why Christian McCaffrey?
He's a workhorse, and when he went to the 49ers, he changed the game for the 49ers. And yesterday evening, I was looking to the games when I'm just falling asleep, and I saw Christian McCaffrey, and it was like a dream to see him play. But there are a few more guys even. When JJ Watt was in the league,
Yeah.
I think he was a face of the NFL. So there are few players on different positions
That he
who
emerged.
should be. So Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who can be the face of it. Depends on what you want to have or what you want to think. But yeah, to be the face of it, even I think about Josh Allen, who's on the Madden. What is that in English? In Germany, we say Fluch.
Yeah.
What is that in English? You know about the Madden thing? When you're on the Madden cover, you have a bad season. How is that called?
Oh, the curse?
Curse? Is it the
Yeah.
curse? Is curse the word in English? I don't know. But
Bad
yeah.
curse. Bad juju. Bad
Yeah,
curse.
yes. So this is, So it's good to not be the face of the NFL.
So you're an ambassador. You got big shoes here. Who is it? I just want to know who you looked up to growing up. Was it a male in the NFL? Was it any females in your life? Like, who was it that you looked up to growing up? Who was kind of like your childhood idol? Who was your mentor growing up? Because again, right now you're in a position of some power here. You're really being a big influence in the females in the sport. But who was it that you looked up to?
When I started being so passionate in sports, it was Serena Williams.
Oh yeah.
But when I'm into American football, it was sure Tom Brady, because when you see him running on the field, he was so into the game, and you knew that, and he was the word. I mean,
Passion, like intensity, passion.
it's not only passion. He was it's vorbereitet in German. You say you work before to be prepared. So
Yeah.
he was well prepared. He knows
Yeah.
everything, and that's what I was talking to Sebastian Vollmer here. He's telling me that he was. You can ask him everything. You can ask him everything from your opponent, from every player, from anything. He knows everything. And when he stepped on the field, you had that feeling that he was prepared for every situation, and that was kind of feeling great. And I'm looking for Patrick Mahomes at the moment because of those things. And here's in my home country, my home coach was a national team quarterback from the men's team. He was in the juniors and the men's national team, and he was teaching me everything. So I tried to be like him, and I'm working on that still with him together. And we're practicing a lot, and I look up to him, to his movement, to all what he can, can, what he can teach me, and what he can shows me, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, just to wrap this up, I want to know what your ultimate goal is, because again, you've already, you've left a legacy, you've made your imprint, right? I still think you have a lot more to do. I'm sure once you reach one mountain, you want to reach another mountain. What is your ultimate goal? What do you see doing? Do you see starting the first American full contact, major mainstream football league? Like, I just want to know kind of what your massive goal is. What is your ultimate goal?
So my personal goal is to join the Olympic Games in LA 28. This is my personal goal. And what I would like to see is I want to open doors for German females who can play football on a professional level. When I see what I'm doing during the week, I work full time, I work on the television, and I practice in the morning at 5 and in the evening at 10, whenever I have time, 2 times a day, whatever. And I want to open doors for everyone who wants to play football, professional or semi-professional. So this is my goal, to bring it more in the focus, to get more people doing this amazing sports. And I want to open doors for girls, for men, for everyone to be a semi-professional or a professional football player.
That's amazing. I appreciate you coming on. Make sure you stay on for a second after we say goodbye. But I'll ask a question. What's your favorite team?
Oh, I don't have a favorite team.
You can't be biased towards a team, right? You look after everybody.
When I started playing football, I wanted to have a team, and I say, okay, I have to have for a team to get fired up with them. But when I see the players are moving so much, I cannot have the identity of one team, because I'm not living in any country, and I'm visiting a city, and I'm like I'm watching the teams where I visited, but I'm not into one team. I just look to players, and wherever they are, I follow them and see them or watch them playing.
Yeah, we have the same thing in common. I do the same thing. All I care about is where my fantasy players are. So I'm a big Detroit fan. I got Jahmyr Gibbs. I got Sam Laporta. I'm a big Detroit Lions fan now because of
nice.
because of a couple of
So
players.
you'll have a great season this year.
Oh yeah, exactly. So yeah, fantasy is very big impact on which teams I follow and which teams I watch. And that's a huge thing. That's what fantasy football has really helped NFL football, because you find that people just watch games they wouldn't regularly watch. Like fantasy, I would never watch a Jacksonville Jaguars game, but if I'm invested, if I've got like Calvin Ridley, then I'm probably watching that game, So that's the nice thing about fantasy. We're able to watch multiple games and follow multiple players across the league instead of just watching one game and it's done, So it's been very fun. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on, Mona Stevens. Make sure you follow her. I'll be watching the journey. I'm following you, and excited to have you on. Maybe we'll get you on for next season for the fantasy show to talk about your top players going into the season. that podcast booms. That's been in the millions of downloads, but that starts booming, and we'll get you on prime time August, maybe something like that next year for the fantasy show.
Oh my God, I'm super excited. And thank you for the invitation. That was pretty nice to see you, to meet you.
Thank you. I'm pretty loud on there. I play the heel sometimes because I talk smack about players, but people don't realize it's a character I play sometimes, right? So it is what it is. It gets the views, and I'm here for entertainment purposes as well. So all right, thanks, Mona. I appreciate you guys. We're out. Make sure you guys follow. Drop any questions below. We're out. Thanks. Take care. Go hard. Go hard.